All right, so looking forward to today's quick conversation. This is going to be a quick primer on athletic recruiting with StrivePath. Now, let's get right into it. So, about us, our whole objective is to build students to be their best selves, and we focus on the student, not the college. So, what that means is we aim to develop the student for who they are versus focusing on college admissions. We're local, we're from the communities that we serve. We're also in person, not remote, and our students are 7th through 12th grade. Our athletic recruiters, so Danielle and Ryan. So Danielle was on the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team. She advises students across a variety of sports, including volleyball, soccer, lacrosse, what have you. Ryan is our swimming and water polo athletic recruiter, and he was a coach at over 4 or 5 different Division One programs. So our whole objective is to bring clarity on how this whole college recruiting process works. And one thing I just want to highlight is don't let the timeline stress you out. Um, we have a lot of juniors coming in and they're kind of worried about being behind the 8 ball. It's all good. Our objective here is to kind of lay out the process and suggested timelines for these. So why do athletic recruiting? One, you genuinely just enjoy the game and you excel at competition. And secondly, it's a very powerful way to get into college. A lot of the focus has been on Division One, NIL. That's fine. Division One is maybe 5% of all the college recruited athletes. For us, out of 40 to 50 kids, we'll have maybe 2 Division One athletes. Everybody else is either Division Two or Division Three. Division Three is a college type that is often overlooked, but contains many high academic colleges like WashU St. Louis, the Claremont colleges, and it's a fantastic way for us to almost leverage athletic recruiting as a way to drive admissions. Okay. Oh, and then also with Division Three, you can drop out of the sports program and finish and focus on other aspects of college. And the same with Ivies. Like I was an Ivy athlete, as was my wife, and the majority of our athletes actually quit after the first year, if not the first semester. So here's the timeline. Really quickly, we're actually going to go through this in detail in the next few slides. So here it is, just to kind of flash it up. Let's go through step one. So this could be freshman or sophomore year. The first thing really is to speak with your coach. They've seen your progression. Your coach can be club, right? If you're playing soccer, basketball, lacrosse, volleyball, or it could be high school if you're in track and cross country or football. And they've witnessed your progression, so they can share a lot more about what it takes to get recruited. And one of the key questions that you should ask is, based on the progress that you've seen so far, how likely is it for me to get recruited into Division One, Division Two, Division Three? And what are the steps that I need to take to ensure that? Okay. And then that'll actually help kind of chart your developmental pathway, and then that'll assist with actually kind of getting there. Step two is start to post your athletic stats. So look for relevant, but don't overdo it, right? Where you can post your stats. Keep it simple. So the two that are perhaps most common would be Swim Cloud for swimmers and Huddle and Max Rep for other sports or athletes. What's also important too is to post metrics that are relevant to your sport. So if you're a swimmer, times and height, right, are important. Step three, create highlight reels. And this is effectively meant to demonstrate your athletic accomplishments. Now for track, for cross country, for swimming, those are much more time-based versus highlight reel based. But if you are, for example, playing a team-based sport, this is super, super key. So what's important is, one, we take a look at game/meet situations. High quality footage is best. Game context is helpful. So who are you playing, right? What were the stakes? And keep it at 2 to 3 minutes. Additionally, to kind of add to the slide, coaches actually want to see you fail, right? They want to see how you've handled adversity. Step four, create a wide list of college targets. So right now, you or your student may not actually know what colleges would be interesting to them because they're still just a sophomore, right? Or you're still just a sophomore. And so at this point, cast a very wide net. And over time, we can start to narrow that net down by, who replies, but then also more importantly, what the appropriate college fit is. One key question you have to ask yourself, or one key question your student has to ask themselves is, if they were to get injured, is this a college where I or they would still attend, right? Step 5. So create a resume/player profile. So here's a template on the left-hand side. You're more than welcome to just kind of Google it. You'll find a couple. Keep it to one page, right? Include a professional photo, list relevant metrics, and one of the key things you have to list are your academic accomplishments. So the courses you're taking, any sort of academic awards you received, and also your upcoming classes and your current classes as well. The reason why is coaches want to just confirm that you would pass the the academic bar to receive admission. If you can't, it's a non-starter. And then also list the clubs that you're a part of, coach contact details and email. Step 6. So this really occurs in the spring of sophomore year because now I know obviously like that the rules have changed a little bit, but traditionally it's been the spring of sophomore year. Because as of June 15th, for certain divisions, coaches actually can't respond to your emails. So the email should state your stats, why you're interested in a specific program, any upcoming meets or competitions you're a part of, attach your resume and profile, and then also attach your highlight reels and your unofficial transcript in addition to the class schedule for junior year. Again, they want to make sure that you can pass the academic bar. Step 7. So this is June 15th. For some of the divisions, this is when the dating game starts. So this is when coaches actually can now respond to email or via email and via phone. And they may respond asking for more information. If they don't respond, don't give up, right? Or if you're the parent, it's not the end of the world for your student because coaches are also casting a very wide net too. And this is a dating game, so you may not hear from them for quite some time. A quick thing about online presence. So don't go overboard with creating accounts. Research which media are preferred by which coaches. So for example, baseball uses X, right? Keep it simple. A lot of the coaches are old fashioned and they're not going to follow you on a variety of different media. And the other piece too is coaches will look you up on social media too. So anything that is unprofessional, take them off. This will actually help you too with college admissions because when it comes to the admissions or application time, admission directors will do the exact same thing. So clean up your social media. All right. So now you're ready to actually contact coaches. And at this point, you can find the coaches on the roster portion of the athletic recruiting website. Complete the questionnaire. So for example, during a presentation, we had shown Stanford. But this is also the step where many mistakes can happen, right? So what you want to make sure you do is double check your email for grammar, for spelling, double check it to make sure that you've mentioned the correct college. And also make sure that you're sending this to not just the head coach, but also the assistant coaches. Okay, so now you're ready. So again, coaches can't respond to you until June 15th, and many may not respond until months after. And again, oftentimes it's the assistant coach who responds, which is why it's important to email the full staff and send updates like, hey, I was a part of this competition. I was a part of JCO, right? Here are like my recent times. Here are some new film footage. That's really, really important. Again, email the entire coaching staff, not just the head coach. So step 8, on-campus visits. So this will typically happen between June 15th after your sophomore year and your junior year, at the end of your junior year. So official visits, you can see what's on the slide right now. So the official visits will effectively cover your lodging, transportation, meals, and entertainment. You'll meet the coaches, tour the facilities, and this is at the coach's discretion. Now, typically it's one official visit per school. Unofficial visits, you pay that yourself, or your student, or you and your student pay that yourselves, and you can do this as many times as you want, right? Because you let the coach know, like, hey, I'm visiting, would love to connect with you. That's an unofficial visit. That's totally fine. Okay, step 9. So at the end of, I would say, junior year through really October of senior year, this is when the commits happen. Okay, so at this point, coaches will indicate if they want you on the team. Now, some of them may give you or your student verbal commits. Those are non-binding. We've had a couple of students where they got verbal commits only to find out that those commits were reneged. Now, some Ivies and so some schools like the Ivies or some of the Division III programs will actually apply. They'll ask you to apply early decision, like apply here and you're in, right? Now, schools with no ED policies will ask that you apply through the regular decision process. So just make sure you work on those applications. Financial aid. So needing financial aid actually may impact your ability to get recruited because, frankly, in addition to the academic bar, there's a financial bar too. And it's another hoop that the coach has to jump through with admissions to get you on the team. But they shouldn't preclude you or prevent you from saying you need financial aid. If you need it, say so. It'll prevent family hardship, which is perhaps like the most important thing. And getting it on the coach's radar sooner than later will also make sure that they're prepared to have that conversation with admissions. With NCAA changes, so there were roster caps, and these were effectively put in place to level the playing field. So what this effectively means is, for a variety of sports, primarily Division I, Division III, and the Ivies are for the most part unaffected. The number of athletes recruited for that particular sport has been capped. And the objective here is to ensure that we don't have colleges that are recruiting students just so that that student cannot play at competing colleges. That was a trend, and that was certainly pretty prevalent among Division I programs. So what this also means, though, is they can recruit fewer number of spots for a team. And so when you compound that with the fact that colleges are recruiting a lot more for junior college, and they're recruiting a lot more via the transfer window, the number of open spots for recruitment is certainly dwindling, right? So again, if you're interested in college recruiting, talk to your coach first, and then just recognize that it is a sales process. Now, don't slack off on your grades, because again, you must meet the athletic and the academic requirements set forth by the coach and the admissions team. So for the Ivies, as an example, they have what's called the student academic interest, which is your SAT or index. That is the SAT plus your academic scores. If you don't pass that bar, you're not going to get the green light. And what will actually happen is in your junior year, coaches will ask you for your transcript, and they'll do what's called a preliminary review with admissions to ensure that you've passed that bar. Okay? So that's it. I wanted to keep this to less than 15 minutes. Thank you so much for watching this. If you'd like to contact us, email us at contact@mystrivepath.com, and feel free to shoot us a note. Thanks so much.